Funding for Shaperillis is provided by
Surfshark VPN, the sponsor of today's video. I'm just gonna cut to the chase with this one. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is amazing. No joke, this is easily the best animated movie of 2022 and one of the best DreamWorks movies of all time. I can't believe how good it is. I saw the trailer and thought, oh, that's cool, they got some Spider-Verse-y animation in this one. That'll probably make up for how generic and lame the story is probably gonna be. I mean, can you really blame me for thinking that way? I don't even really like the first Puss in Boots movie that much. I mean, it's fine, but I always thought it was a bit lame how it played its fairy tales completely straight, as opposed to Shrek, which subverts typical fairy tale tropes. The journey is fine, the morals are fine, the animation is fine. It's a perfectly fine little spin-off, and I expected the sequel to be more of the same, just with cooler animation. Then the movie started getting insanely good reviews, which really caught my attention. It can't be that good. It's that good. Holy shit, is this an amazing movie. With a really interesting story about Puss grappling with his mortality and being stalked by the literal personification of death. Oh my god, is Death one of the best DreamWorks villains. Probably one of the scariest bad guys to ever come out of the studio. I was legitimately tensed up watching his scenes. They're very haunting and eerie and well directed. Have I mentioned yet that this movie was directed by Joel Crawford, who also directed The Croods 2, and you all laughed at me for saying that movie was good? Well, who's laughing now? This guy is 2 for 2 with making sequels I actually enjoy to movies that I didn't even care for, and I couldn't be happier. Anyway, yeah, the wolf is the best part of the movie, and his scenes are genuinely chilling and epic and very, very good and stuff. But shockingly, the rest of the movie is pretty great too. The story is incredibly simple, with a bunch of different factions all racing each other to get the titular Last Wish. But it's the execution of this rather simple premise that really sticks out. There's this enchanted forest that literally terraforms and changes its challenges based on whoever's holding this magical map. And it's such a cool and unique fantasy concept that makes the journey so much more interesting. It allows for a lot of variety in the quest while also diving into the psyches of so many of the characters, which is one of the movie's other great strengths. There's a lot of characters in this, and at first I thought it was going to be overstuffed and that some of the less interesting or entertaining characters would take screen time away from the ones I wanted to follow more. But that's the crazy thing. I pretty much liked all the characters in this movie. Never once was I disappointed to cut away to a different character because I genuinely found all of them to be so entertaining. Puss's struggle with his mortality and inability to live up to his own legend is super interesting, as is his relationship with Kitty Softballs. I didn't even care for her that much in the first movie, but here I really like the idea that she can't trust anyone and needs to learn to open herself up a bit. It's nice that they don't beat you over the head with that message like they do in a certain shitty Disney movie. The word trust is only said a small handful of times, and yet you clearly understand that that's Kitty's problem and that she needs to be open to trusting people. I'm sure kids can pick up on that too. They're not that stupid, but thanks for assuming that they are, Disney. Okay, back to talking about good movie. I was really expecting to find this dog that follows Puss and Kitty annoying. Like I was bracing for it, but no, the dog was actually extremely charming and likable. I got really invested in this optimistic little scamp who has such a tragic backstory, and yet doesn't even register that it's supposed to be tragic because they're just that positive and trusting. Why did this movie have such genuine emotional moments? It's crazy. Speaking of which, there's also Goldilocks and the 3 bears who are this crime family vying for the wish. And they've got this really sweet story too about found family and acknowledging those closest to you. I feel like the conflict introduced between these characters could have been fleshed out a bit better. Like it's all revealed pretty quickly right before the climax, and then it's resolved during said climax, so it doesn't really have room to breathe in the story. But the intentions behind it are still there, and they're still really sweet. I thought they made for a great addition to the film, and I got really choked up by aspects of their plotline as well. And then there's this other comedic villain based on a nursery rhyme I've literally never heard of before. He barely shows up in any trailers or pre-release marketing material I've seen. It seems to be a real Tamatoa effect they're going for with this guy. So I'll be vague and try not to spoil too much about him. But yeah, he was definitely the funniest character in the movie to me. I loved his creative arsenal of fairy tale weapons, the bits with the cricket, and all the surprisingly gruesome deaths of his henchmen were hilarious, and the vocal performance was really good. I wasn't expecting that considering the same actor gave an extremely bad vocal performance earlier this year, but thankfully he put in a lot more effort for this movie, and it made for a super entertaining villain. Again, between him, Goldilocks, and Death himself, it really feels like the movie should be overstuffed and have too many villains. But miraculously, no, it's just right. right. The absolute perfect amount to make for a chaotic, mad race to get this wish. Which means you've got a movie that's boatloads of fun, on top of being surprisingly emotionally effective, and of course, a true tour de force in the animation department. The fight scenes in this movie are nothing short of amazing. The colors, the intensity, the precision. Obviously, they're pulling a lot from Spider-Verse, even more so than the bad guys did. But thankfully, this movie does have its own unique visual style. For starters, the paintbrush aesthetic is gorgeous. This is the most alive the Shrek cinematic universe has ever looked, and I really hope DreamWorks continues to adapt their classic franchises to new animation styles. Looking at you, Kung Fu Panda 4. On top of the excellent art direction, I really love how distinctly the fight scenes are animated compared to everything else. Once you see the characters start dropping frames, you know you're in for some cool shit. The fight scenes are exhilarating, and the intentional lack of fluidity really ramps up the intensity and makes every moment feel visually distinct. They're fantastic. I especially love Puss's final fight with Death, both from an animation standpoint and a character standpoint. It was the perfect way for the confrontation to go narratively, and it was also cool as shit to look at. Honestly, I just have very little to complain about with this movie. I loved just about all of it. I guess it does take a little while for the adventure to get going. Like, while I enjoyed Puss trying to retire at this weird cat home, it did feel like we were there a little too long, and I did want the plot to start moving. But once it got moving, it was an incredibly engaging thrill ride that shattered my expectations completely. Not just exciting and funny, but also surprisingly mature and thoughtful and sometimes terrifying. It really is the complete package, and easily the best film in the Shrek franchise since Shrek 2. It doesn't quite exceed that movie for me, but it came pretty damn close, and I was not expecting that in a million years. But man, not only is this film excellent as a standalone feature, and I mean standalone, you don't even need to watch the first Puss in Boots or any of the Shrek movies to enjoy it, but it also simultaneously managed to get me so ridiculously excited for the future of Shrek. I always thought his story should be laid to rest after Shrek Forever After, but damn. If they get the creative team behind this movie back and maintain this incredible new animation style for the franchise, we might just be headed into a true Shrek renaissance. A Shrenaissance, if you will. This film was the perfect way to reboot the Shrek franchise for the modern era, which is something I didn't even want until I saw this movie. But now, I can't wait for Shrek 5. Anyway, go see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in theaters now. I need this movie to do well so that DreamWorks makes more Puss in Boots and Shrek movies. And I'm just a bit concerned about this movie's performance since Patrick and I were the only people in the theater when we went to see it. So I'm begging you, please check it out. It is absolutely worth seeing on the big screen. Don't pirate it. You can always just pirate whatever shitty thing Disney puts out next. But this film is actually worth your money. 9 out of 10, go see it. Also, DreamWorks, when you make Shrek 5, please let me have a voice cameo. That would be pretty epic. Please, I'm like the Shrek guy on the internet. Please let me voice some background rando. That would be pretty cool. I know you probably won't because I dissed Shrek the 3rd pretty hard, but I praised the other 3 pretty harder, so that cancels out the Shrek 3 bashing, so please invite me. Okay, real talk, guys. This was just a bit. They're not gonna invite me, but wouldn't it be cool if they did? I think it would.
Skipper, should we tell them that Clone Wars Season 3 has been delayed to early 2023?
Nah, just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Anyway, time for the last sponsorship transition of the year. I gotta make it a good one. Oh no, Kitty Softpaw stole your private data. Uh-oh, stop her with Surfshark VPN. An incredible product that encrypts your data and protects you online. Surfshark VPN allows you to access geo-restricted content, meaning you can trick your browser into thinking you're in another country, thus allowing you to access content you couldn't get otherwise. That way you don't have to physically travel to another country to watch that country's exclusive Netflix or Disney Plus content, for example. No matter where you are, you can easily watch all 6 seasons of the Puss in Boots TV show that apparently exists. Like, huh and why. Plus, the Surfshark alert system can give you alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. Surfshark Alert scans various databases of leaked information and notifies its users if their data is found so they can take action, which is an absolutely invaluable feature. Surfshark is also totally unlimited, meaning you can use it on as many devices as you like, even all at the same time. No other VPN allows this. Go to surfshark.deal/Rillis and enter promo code RILLIS to get 83% off and 3 extra months of Surfshark VPN for free. It's an amazing deal, and it's even better because it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you can cancel during those 30 days and get your money back. If you're looking for a great VPN, there's no reason not to give Surfshark a try. Once again, head to surfshark.deal/Rillis and enter the promo code RILLIS. Have a great time with Surfshark VPN.
See?